Good morning, afternoon, or evening. I am an undocumented professor. I got my degree from nowhere in particular. I am not accredited by Harvard, Cambridge, and Oxford. I'd like to read for you a poem. It's called The Union Soldier. It's by Colonel R.G. Ingersoll. It was written in 1876. The past rises before me like a dream. Again, we are in the great struggle for national life. We hear the sounds of the preparation, the music of the boisterous drums, the silver voices of heroic bugles. We see thousands of assemblages and hear the appeals of orators. We see the pale cheeks of women and the flushed faces of men. And in those assemblages we see all the dead whose dust we have covered with flowers. We lose sight of them no more. We are with them when they enlist in the great army of freedom. We see them part with those they love. Some are walking for the last time in quiet woody places with the maiden they adore. We hear the whisperings of sweet vows of eternal love as they lingeringly part forever. Others are bending over cradles, kissing babies that are asleep. Some are parting with mothers who hold them and press them to their hearts again and again and say nothing. And some are talking with wives, endeavoring with brave words spoken in the old tones to drive from their hearts that awful fear. We see them part. We see the wife standing in the door with the babe in her arms, standing in the sunlight sobbing. At the turn of the road a hand waves. She answers, holding high in her loving hands the child. He is gone, and forever. We see them all as they march proudly under the flaunting flags, keeping time to the wild, grand music of war, marching down the streets of great cities, through the towns and across the prairies, down to the fields of glory, to do and die for the eternal right. We go with them, one and all. We are by their sides on all gory fields, in the hospitals of pain, on the weary marches. We stand guard with them in the wild storm and under the quiet stars. We are with them in the ravines running with blood, in the furrows of old fields. We are with them between contending hosts, unable to move, wild with thirst, life ebbing slowly away among the withered leaves. We see them pierced by balls and torn with shells in the trenches by the forts, and in the whirlwind of the charge, where men become iron with nerves of steel. We are with them in the prisons of hatred and famine, but human speech can never tell what they endured. We are home when the news comes that they are dead. We see the maiden in the shadow of her first sorrow. We see the silver head of the old man bowed with last grief. The past rises before us, and we see 4 millions of human beings governed by the lash. We see them bound hand and foot. We hear the strokes of cruel whips. We see the hounds tracking women through tangled swamps. We see the babes sold from the breasts of their mothers, cruelly unspeakable, outrage infinite. 4 million bodies in chains, 4 million souls in feathers, all sacred relations of wife, mother, father, child, trampled beneath the brutal feet of might. And all this was done under our own beautiful banner of the free. The past rises before us. We hear the roar and shriek of the bursting shell. The broken fetters fall. The heroes died. We look. Instead of slaves, we see men and women and children. The wand of progress touches the auction block, the whipping post, and we see homes and firesides and schoolhouses and books, and where all was once, and crime and cruelty and feathers, we see the faces of the free. These heroes are dead. They died for liberty. They died for us. They are at rest. They sleep in the land they made free, under the flag rendered stainless, under the solemn pines, the sad hemlocks, the tearful willows, and embracing vines. They sleep beneath shadows of the clouds, careless alike of or sunshine or of storm, each in the windowless palace of rest. Earth may run red with other wars, they are at peace. In the midst of battles, in the roar of conflict, they found the serenity of death. A voice glory. I have one sentiment for the soldiers, living and dead. Cheers for the living, and tears for the dead.